So we need to bear in mind, as you know, that people, culture, trauma, and grief are very connected to. And then, so the symptoms might not be consistent the way that Western psychological norms are defining grief and loss in even symptoms, because they have different idioms of distress, idioms to explain things. And then, for instance, Afghans, when we are sad, we say, I'm bleeding from my liver. Which is like, doesn't make sense. Or if we are very, very much distressed or grieving intensely, if we would say, I'm burning with fire. So and that's why they may have their own idioms of distress, but obviously you might need, if you like, you might need to ask them what it is. Some people also somatize their body pain, aches, and stuff like that, because a psychological problem brings a lot of stigma and shame. They might not have this concept of counseling and so on. So that's why they're expressing it somatically. And then also how they explain trauma, how they explain loss, and how they attribute to mental healthness. In some cultures, you know, that people may think they're crazy, or they're possessed by devils or by jinns or maybe witchcraft. So like they attribute to mental healthness in the way that they conceptualize it themselves. So we need to be mindful of that. And then they might not even fully understand what's going on. That's why they might be frightened, they may be scared, they might not disclose things, which is okay, because it's not in your role to do counseling anyway. But just to be mindful, if people are doing like behavior that it shows otherwise that something might be going on. And stigma and shame associated with mental illness is also a concern for people. Like in terms of somatization, like for instance, statistics shows 50% Afghans are psychosomatic, because it's easier for us to say I have backache or stomachache instead of saying I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. We didn't have the concept of psychological problems. It was psychiatry or completely well. And that's why they're unfamiliar with the concept of counseling themselves. And then people also they have resilience, they have coping strategies, or things that they help them. Like you can ask, or I always ask in my first session with my clients, what helped you before? If they say it was prayer, walking, ritual, whatever it is, I encourage them to do so, because this is the way that they cope. Like people from India and some other part of the world, like all this meditation and yoga and everything that we're using in Western culture now is so useful in use by them. Or Muslims prayer and like collective prayer in the mosque and stuff like that. It's very much good for overcoming social isolation and stuff like that. And then they may seek help from religious leaders and traditional and healers, which is fine as long as it's not against law or things that are against the way that kind of affects their law, their rights, because sometimes people can be misleading as well. And then, so yeah, they're unfamiliar with the concept of counseling as well.